Hey everyone, welcome to Plants and Politics. So I always think that nothing else can shock me when it comes to Trump and his depravity and his administration's ability to be the most callous, vile excuses for human beings to ever walk the earth. But then something new happens. Something new comes to light and I reach a new height of shock. And at this point, I think it's fair to say that this administration is filled with sociopaths. Because like attracts like. You know, as my grandmother used to say, tell me who your friends are and I'll tell you what you're all about. So not only, this is what this is about, not only did the Trump administration not help to reunite immigrant children with their parents who they deported, they appear to have actively worked to prevent the ACLU and other organizations from getting those kids back to their parents. So I recently shared with you on the show that nearly 600 children still hadn't been returned to their parents after 3 years of being separated due to Trump's truly evil family separation policy. But now it's been reported that it's actually more than 600 children. In fact, it's closer to 700 who remain orphaned and who are psychologically scarred for life. And that's a fact because doctors, pediatricians, psychologists have been interviewed and they said, absolutely, these children will carry scars with them for the rest of their life. So now, after all of these years, after 3 years of court battles and back and forth, people protesting and children being locked in cages all by themselves, some so young when they were separated that they're not even going to recognize their own mothers and fathers anymore. The Trump administration finally turned over information that they've kept hidden this entire freaking time. Information that could have helped to put these terrified children back in the arms of their parents, who, by the way, their only crime was loving them enough to sometimes walk thousands of miles through dangerous circumstances to try to get them to a better life and safety. Oh, how horrible. Let's torture them. I still cannot believe that the UN hasn't stepped up and done something and taken action because this is a crime against humanity. So here's what has come to light. In a court filing last week, a lawyer for the ACLU informed the judge that after repeated requests over the past 3 years, the Trump administration finally decided, we're going to give you some phone numbers and addresses. They purposely withheld this information. And it appears that the only reason they're now doing this is because Joe Biden humiliated Trump on the debate stage. He pointed out the administration's failures to reunite these families who were torn apart simply because Trump's team is filled with repugnant, racist, evil people who wanted to see these families suffer. But more than that, they wanted the world to see these families suffer so that it would act as a deterrent. They've admitted that. They've admitted that the only reason they did this was because they wanted it to deter other people from coming to the border. Stephen Miller was the architect of this evil plan. If that son of a bitch, if that walking devil is allowed to have children, they should be taken away immediately for their own safety. It's absolutely unreal. The Jewish man who has family, who has ancestors who were targeted by Hitler is the architect of the most cruel and inhumane policy ever put in place in modern times. So since receiving this new data that they could have turned over at any time in the last 3 years, roughly 40 additional families have been reunited with their children. There's now renewed hope that they're going to be able to reunify more of these families and get some of these grieving parents back to their kids. This is monstrous. This is unconscionable. This is one of the most heinous things that he's ever done. Probably the most. All right, guys. Thanks for watching and listening. I will talk with you soon. Take care. And yeah, I don't know where we go from here, but thanks for listening to Plants and Politics. The only way we can take our country and power back is to spread the truth and build an army. So remember to like, follow, subscribe, and share on Facebook, YouTube, and wherever you listen to your podcasts. Thanks again.